All right, well, kia ora, ko Martin Chadwick aho, ko Tia Biha Hawara Homies, so Manatu Hawara, so I'm the Chief Allied Health Professions Officer at the Ministry of Health. Thank you.
Oh. Hi, ko Charlene Tan-Smith toko ingoa, te kai mātai putaiao a Parongo toko mahi, so I'm the Clinical Informatics Consultant for Canterbury and West Coast.
Thank you so much for joining, and great to have you here. We're here at Digital Health Week New Zealand in Hamilton. What brings you to the event?
So mainly it's to have an opportunity to touch base with some of the allied health folk that have got a real focus on data and digital. So that was the focus of the workshop this morning. I think it's not often that you have the ability to get people together that really have that focus and be able to have a chat. What is the role of data and where do we need to focus the data and digital space specific to allied health?
Yeah, amazing. And so do I understand correctly, you're at the overarching level and you're at DHB? Is that right? Have I got it right? Close.
Yes. I would say Martin would be the overarching Ministry of Health governing, our allied health professions. And I'm attached to what used to be DHBs and
yes.
now we're region and districts. Yes.
Got it. And so tell me a little bit more about what the need is in the allied health space for perhaps overall and then specifically for your particular region.
Yeah, and I think that was a lot of the conversation that we had this morning actually, is understanding that when you look at the way the health system unfolds now under the new legislation, that the Ministry of Health gives really clear direction around the government policy statement, what he wants us to focus on. Health New Zealand has to then write the Health New Zealand plan, but it's a matter of how do allied health, how do they read themselves into that? And I think that that's what we didn't have, is the opportunity to really say, this is the direction to travel, what are the opportunities that sit within that, and how do specific professions or groups, how do they think they can start to contribute to that? And then I think it comes down to the granular level of really being able to demonstrate and prove this is what we can do, which is where we have wonderful people like Charlene that can really dig into that and demonstrate their worth.
Yeah, as you can imagine, as like what Martin said, as a leader, he sets the direction like how you would for a ship. Right, we have our 5+5+5 targets. So the part that I really like is that I'm right down to the coalface. I'm all the way to the top. I try to figure out what digital pathways or what workflows need to be digitized and what we can do in the innovation space and with tech, and how can that enhance us but yet have a complete clinical lens for it. Because we are the ones that are the administrators. If you were to see in terms of innovation, allied health is also at top when it comes to finding different ways of working, finding good ways on how to be efficient, finding ways on how to show our demand and the outcomes that we know that we need to achieve and supply. And that's how we work pretty much like a rugby team, isn't it? That's the part that I really like about my job, is as high level as I need to generate those reports and those strategic movements of where we're going to do, align, standardize what is it that we need in allied health. But I like that I still get to go right down to the ground level, to, in a sense, to frontline with patients, frontlines with clinicians. Is this what your data is really telling us? I'm teaching them how to use data as their voice, but for them to be able to do that, they need to understand what they're contributing.
Yeah.
So that journey itself, it's so exciting.
I love that. Use data as your voice. That definitely resonates. And very New Zealand of you to throw in a rugby reference there. So kudos for that. But it is interesting thinking about the needs of allied health from a digital perspective, because you say allied health as if it's a homogenous group of people, but there's not a profession within healthcare clinically that is diverse as allied health. There are so many different modalities and professions within the allied health space. And that you think about the bespoke needs of from a patient side, but also just from a clinician perspective. There's group bookings, there's very different kind of physical and virtual elements that are there too. Do you think what brings the allied health needs together is the fact that everyone is so diverse, or how do you approach such a large group of clinicians that in their right are their own little groups in themselves, but then get grouped up into this need? What brings all that group together that has quite a unique need compared to, say, your general practitioners or your specialists or other clinical needs?
Yeah, and I think, many ways you can look at it. How I try to make sense of it is that it purely is a social construct. If you don't want it to exist, it doesn't exist. But then you look at healthcare, you have the traditional power base that sits with medicine, it just is. And then you've got the sheer numbers of nursing that sit behind that. Again, it just simply is. And so then you've got this group that could be very disparate, but together, there's real power within that. In some ways, I kind of think it's almost like, to use another rugby analogy, is that, you might be playing for the Bay of Plenty Steamers or, another provincial team, but given the opportunity to wear a black jersey, you want to wear a black jersey type of thing. So it's about understanding that it doesn't take away what your background is, but you can also wear the black jersey and you can also have that allied health banner that you operate under. And I think that that's the opportunity to really put that forward. And from my context, it's the opportunity to continually put forward that there are solutions. And there are solutions that sit with audiology or sit with speech language therapy or sit with osteopaths or sit with et cetera, and to be able to say what is the need of the system, what is the minister setting out within that GPS, and how can we start to offer some of those solutions. So that's what I've got the ability to do within my role.
Excellent.
Martin is going to laugh at this, but I've always described allied health, like everyone is going, what is allied health? No, it's not doctors. No, it's not nurses. No, it's not ambulance drivers. Martin is like my farmer. He would laugh because I often say that I inherit a farmyard and I love all my wonderful creatures and animals, right? Because all of them have different numbers, they work at different speeds, they work at different ways, they have different workflows. But you know what? I know what the commonality is among all of them, right? So Martin knows all of us and what we do, what we can provide, what we are useful for, what's our superpower, right? So that's the key. I find that the part that really excites me is that often with different types of animals or different disciplines with different ways of working, some might be a lot more efficient and quite good at doing certain things. I'll like, great, you know what? I need you there. I need you right there. And then after that, I go, okay, come on. The ones that need to be handheld this way. No, I'm not going to leave you behind. I'm going to be only as fast as the last person, right? So in some ways, I think that's the excitement that keeps me going. That's the challenge. I love challenge. And everyone who knows me know that I don't do anything unless it's fun. So, to actually gear on and to actually cheer people on, to kind of reach to that common goal. Again, it comes from the top. That's the direction. That's the goal we're trying to go for. And then it's as clinicians or, from top scope for me to give them the tools to be able to do what they need to do to get what they need to provide and the outcomes, to be very clear on that. And that's the part that I like. I like the... Martin's going to laugh again. I like the landscaping, not so much the lawn mowing, because I'm not very good at lawn mowing. Just like I'm never going to be a coder. I tried, it killed me. And I know I can do it, but I know I do it quite shittily. Do we have to cut that out? Oh my goodness, can I even say that? But I like helping the top leaders to strategize on how we can get what they need us to do.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, we could continue on that agriculture analogy about resilience and about making the most with the resources that you have. But we can park that one for a moment. The last thing I was thinking about, you mentioned you ran a workshop today, and you're here kind of fleshing out the needs in the allied health space. Are there any kind of key takeaways or things that you would hope that people attending the workshop or just more broadly the event that might take away you'd hope that, really encapsulate what the needs are in the allied health space or where the priorities are within New Zealand and particularly your region too?
Yeah, and I think what I really tried to lay out in the session I was able to talk to today is that this is a very dynamic time, and I know that it's quite hard for a lot of people, but within that there's actually been some quite seismic shifts which has allowed allied health to start to do more than it ever has previously. So that's really, really exciting for me, and I think the really clear reality is that we just can't keep doing things the way we've been doing them. So we need to look at how do we innovate, how do we use our workforces in different ways, and some of the enabling functions are changing. I won't bore you with the details, but there's technocratic things in the background that have changed, and that's allowed allied health to do more. Obviously more happen, this calendar year than what I've seen the previous 4 years that I've been in this role. So while it's challenging times, it's acknowledging that, but it's also exciting times, and it's trying to make sure we hold that narrative that there's always the opportunity that sits within it. It is up to us collectively, and certainly for those that do get to go up on stage, that's what we've got to be able to share with people, that there is some positivity that sits within it. Got to embrace it and trying to shepherd, if I can use that, in a really positive way, that there are opportunities that you can go about stuff, and that's what we can do, is that we can provide some of that guidance.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say a lot of our colleagues have, and my council members as well for NASTIC, Allied Health, Scientific and Tech, Informatics Group Council, have also going through really personal and professional trying times. However, just like when we do go through trying times, all the more, we need to stand together. All the more, we need to support each other. And exactly like what, Martin is saying, I look forward with excitement, but not to the excitement that, during a really tough time. It's about help them with the grieving. But then now what we can do is we get together, collaborate and move forward to create opportunities. By helping to look forward, to move forward, can give them hope. With hope, we'll have really great things that's going to come out from it, because all the innovation, I still feel most of the innovations would have come from Allied Health, because we're usually so used to be given very little. And just like New Zealand with the number 8 wire, we get very inventive sometimes when we put it under pressure. With the very little that we have, I hold hope that we actually be able to create really good opportunities still next year. And that itself can help to shine a light a little, because what I look forward is the future. We can't do anything about the past, but we can still do something about the future. How about work together with us to find a way forward together? And if we can help, we can help. And by doing that, hopefully that might shine just a little glimmer of light in this really, really tough time, that when one door closed, another door would open.